Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by shamanspiritcenter.com and littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today I wanted to give you the practical guide for living with narcissists. If you choose to live with a narcissist or find yourself stuck in the situation for the time being, here are 5 things that can help save your sanity. Above all, you must remember that nothing you do will control the narcissist's behavior or make them stop being abusive. These things are for you only. They will not control the narcissist. They will not change the narcissist. They will not stop escalation or violent behavior if the narcissist chooses to react that way. Nothing can do that. The only way to stop the abuse is to end your association with this person. Number 1, accept the reality of the situation. If you're going to live with a narcissist, the first thing that needs to happen is acceptance of the situation. Most of the pain involved in these relationships is due to someone's inability or unwillingness to do this. It hurts and it's hard to hear, but the truth is, most people will not change just because someone else wants them to be different. Some of them can't. If you want to get through this with any sanity left, you have to accept the reality of the situation. This means letting go of the fantasy that this relationship is going to somehow become what you want it to be and dealing with the reality of it, regardless of what the narcissist says. You've probably been around the block with this enough times by now to know it's not going to be different, whether they promise that or not. It means not trying to change the narcissist and accepting who and how they really are. It means not projecting your feelings onto the narcissist and letting their actions speak for themselves, because they do. This person either cannot or will not be what you want them to be. Part of living with that without being destroyed is understanding and accepting that. Number 2, change your expectations. A lot of the pain involved in these relationships is also due to unrealistic expectations being placed on the narcissist or on the relationship. This doesn't mean that your expectations are unreasonable or unrealistic in general. They're probably just normal things like expecting respect and consideration. What it means is this person is not going to meet them with any consistency, no matter how basic or reasonable they are. Let the person's actions speak for themselves and base your expectations off of that, rather than what you think they should do. For example, if you're expecting loyalty, even though you've never gotten it from your partner, you need to realize that that's unrealistic. If you're expecting comfort from a parent who has never given it to you, you need to realize that's unrealistic. It doesn't mean that what you want is wrong. It means the person you're expecting it from has already demonstrated they're not going to give it to you. So you need to adjust your expectations accordingly. Expectations need to be created that reflect how this person really behaves and how they really feel. You cannot get blood from a stone, and there's nothing you can do to change that. It's important to understand the dynamics of the relationship and your role in it. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you are not considered a sovereign person by them, and you will not be treated as one. Changing your expectations of the person and the relationship to reflect how things really are will go a long way to creating peace for you. Number 3, stop taking it personally. This is one of the hardest things to do in any relationship, but especially when someone can be so cruel and horrible and abusive. However, it's necessary if you want to survive. It's also the reality. The truth is, the narcissist behavior is not about you. It's about them. If you pay attention, you'll see that, in all likelihood, this person doesn't even really know you. You're just a tool for them to use in their never-ending quest to make themselves feel better. Everybody is, no matter what the narcissist says. It really is about nothing and no one else but them. You think it's about you because it hurts you, but that's not the reality. You don't exist as a sovereign person to pathologically narcissistic people, which means that in the end, nothing can ever be about you at all. That's why it isn't and never will be. Narcissistic people live in a fantasy world, and because of that, they need to say or do or believe all these things. But you don't have to live in that same fantasy world, so don't. It's not about you. It's about them, just like everything else. Number 4, pick your battles. Living with narcissistic people is like being at war. And like being at war, you need to learn to pick your battles. If you don't, everything can become a battle because this is the kind of person that you're dealing with. They can be passive-aggressive, overtly aggressive, sarcastic, mean, nasty, irritable, rude, inconsiderate, and much more. You have to decide what is really worth your time to engage with them over. Every snotty little comment and nasty little look is not worth the argument. It's not worth your time, and it's certainly not going to help anything. Learn to pick your battles and let the rest go. This seems unfair to some people, but if you're living with a narcissist, it's never going to be fair. So it's time to accept that and learn to work with it. Picking your battles can save your sanity. If the situation is not important, don't bother. This actually protects your energy and your sanity at the same time. For example, battles about the finances might need to be had. Battles about the mean thing they said under their breath at breakfast might not. Picking your battles also includes not arguing with them when they try to start with you. You have to decide if a battle is necessary, if it's worth it, and if it'll change anything. Remember that you cannot control this person's behavior or make them stop acting this way. All you can do is control yourself. Learn not to take the bait. It becomes a lot easier when you've accepted the situation, changed your expectations, and are no longer taking it personally. Number 5, learn to validate and care for yourself. Perhaps the hardest thing about dealing with narcissistic people is that although you have a relationship of some kind, you really are alone in it. However, you can learn to validate and care for yourself. This is probably the most important lesson that narcissists can teach us. Learning to do these things for yourself means you need to stop relying on the narcissist to validate your experiences and your feelings. Stop trying to convince an abuser to agree with you that they're an abuser. It's unlikely that they're ever going to do that in any real way. You don't need them to agree with or validate your experiences and your feelings anyway. You can learn to do that for yourself. It means you need to stop giving narcissists the power to decide your worth. Your worth is not determined by what they think of you or how they treat you. No one's worth is determined by how anybody treats them or how anybody thinks of them, but least of all, a narcissist. They don't even live in reality. They don't even know themselves, let alone someone else. Learn to see your own worth and stop giving this power to other people. It is too much power for anyone to have in your life, and it's unhealthy. Many times, the reason people stay in these relationships is because they've become obsessed with proving to the other person that they are worth loving and treating decently. The person you need to prove that to is you, not them. That's who really needs to see it. Learning to validate and care for yourself also means not relying on the narcissist to love, support, or consider you. You've got to learn to love yourself, support yourself, and consider yourself. No one else can do it for you, and a narcissist certainly won't. They can't do it for themselves either. That's what they need you for. Living with narcissists is an exhausting, painful, and ultimately unsatisfying experience where no one ever gets what they want or what they need. These relationships, whether they be family, romantic, or any other kind, are brutal and damaging. But if you're going to live with a narcissist, learning to do these 5 things can at least save your sanity, if nothing else. Remember that none of these things excuses their behavior or renders them somehow not responsible for the things they've done. They are only to keep you from being destroyed by the relationship. Good luck. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. I take appointments online, over the phone, via text, via messenger, via email, and through Skype. So if you're interested in speaking with me one-on-one, you can visit littleshaman.org to go ahead and do that. I teach workshops a few times a month, so if you're interested in seeing what we have running this month, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that as well. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by shamanspiritcenter.com and littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you and have a wonderful day.